What are you doing here? What's going on here, Kitty?
Oh, tonight, neighbor. This is neighbors.
Yes.
It's a combination of some of the activity I think that some neighbors have been concerned about around the park and around Tinys, but I also think that this is a pretty innovative and community and pretty smart, and I think they also have great respect for a variety of people. Okay, so who wants to go first?
The question is, right, the property, on my view and the view of many of my neighbors, is that the owners of Tinys Tavern have been negligent and allowed it to be a site where significant amounts of drugs are taken and sold. And our wish is that the owners take responsibility for that and contribute to combating it. And the claim is that all summer, not a lick has been done. Cars have parked in the lot and been ongoing sites of drug trafficking. That is the question, not the ills that plague Whiteaker and Eugene as a whole.
Dora?
I'm also a neighbor who lives down on 4th, and I walk a dog. I raise a child in this neighborhood. I know that our kids don't feel safe walking by Tinys, and I don't know who's the patron, who's not. I can't distinguish because we try not to make judgments based on how people are dressed. But it's not safe for our kids to walk by Tinys because of the comments that get made. When I walk my dog, I see people get into a fight, physical fights, multiple ones over the summertime, right in front of Tinys. They're not in the park. I've seen people with open beer containers, six-packs, sitting on doorsteps of Tinys. I mean, I'm not even talking about, so that's Tinys' problem. I don't see that as, outside of the fact that we know Scobert is an issue, but we, as the other neighbors have said, we're asking the owners of Tinys to take responsibility and take control of what's happening on their property and care about what's happening and not have to come to this level in order for it to get some attention, because that's what we've been witnessing, and we have felt as neighbors that there hasn't been any attention around it.
Not one single person has approached us. I had to ask for this meeting. Not one person approached us about the problem. That's my problem with all of this.
Yeah.
Y'all see it. What can we do? This is happening on your property. I would have been glad to try to help.
But I think the right thing to do would be to approach the business owners first before going to the OLCC and trying to revoke their license, because that's just going to create this huge rift in the community because that's what it seems like. It seems like you guys are picking on us poor folks. That's the dichotomy that instantly comes up. And I just don't think that that's, going to work out so well.
Okay. Let's let Val.
There was somebody that brought this to my attention last week. It's a terrible way for me to find out. And the first step was to contact OLCC. The first step should have been to contact me.
Right.
Yeah. And make no mistake about it, the illegal activities in the neighborhood is directly related to the alcohol served at the Tinys Tavern. I just can't handle that responsibility.
No.
You shouldn't.
No way.
But we will police that parking lot, and we'll put more people on. But we're just going to push the problem elsewhere.
I got it.
I also have been talking to people and I have a synthesis also. That property, Tinys, is not currently under control by its owners. That's the problem. The letters are about that problem. Those letters are going to keep getting written while the property is not under control. Get the property under control, and the letters will stop.
What about Scobert? What about the park?
I'm just saying the property is not under control.
Neither is the
So
park.
Tinys is in control of the park.
I don't care how it happens.
It's the rest of the world, though.
So what do I
It's
care?
happening everywhere.
That's right, you don't care.
Blame
You screw everybody else, right?
Perfect.
Somehow back in 1966, I magically found Tinys. And it got me into this neighborhood, and I know about half the people in this neighborhood. Tinys is not the problem. The problem is drugs, period. And if you don't face the problem, you're not facing the problem at all. You can't just stand out there and say, oh, Tinys is the problem of the whole neighborhood. Bullshit. Every place in this neighborhood, whether it's Papa's, Sam Bones, here, or over at the Side Pocket, or over at Sweet Life, there's druggies everywhere around here.
Say one word that has not been mentioned yet, and just from my perspective, is the word gentrification, which is bringing a lot of capital into this area, so the folks who don't have it, unfortunately, aren't going to be able to participate in a beautiful place like the Tinys Tavern, where the beer is cheap, where there's never a cover, you know, and I hear Sam Bonds talk, no offense to anyone who loves Sam Bonds, I hear that talked up as the ideal bar. Well, it's not the working class bar. It costs $5 to get in the door, and then it costs $5 if you want to be nice and tip a bartender, so you just spend $10 to have a beer at your local bar. I'm sorry, but I can't afford that. I'm a wage laborer, okay, and so I just find it funny that we're all talking about spending these folks' money on basically ways to make it so I can't afford to live in this neighborhood.
All right, I'm a business owner. I have a restaurant right across the street from Tinys. And ever since I came into the neighborhood, I have to say the people from Tinys embraced us with open arms. And many a nights when things were going kind of crazy outside, I can count so many people from Tinys just like, don't worry about nothing, we got our eye on your place, everything's cool. And I've never been to a neighborhood like that. And I think the problem is, it's not, I think people are seeing people that are not comfortable about the way they look. Because I see that about myself, people judge me before they know me. You're judging a bunch of people because they might look a little rough, or might talk a little rough, but you don't really know the people. The problem is the park.
Has anyone been to 4th and Madison? There are people living on that corner. There are people pooping on that corner. I walk my dog around here constantly. And that is just disgusting for someone to blame Tinys Tavern for stuff that's happening all over the Whiteaker.
Now, we all have a place to go and drink a beer.
Woo! Take a
we
shower,
all have a place
clean up.
to go to use the toilet.
Not to mention healthcare.
We have hopefully some of us have access to healthcare, but not everybody does. But the folks that are out here on the street don't have a place to go do these things. So if we blame Tinys or blame even Scobert, and we step up patrols, or okay, Tinys takes care of their own problem, all we're doing is pushing the problem somewhere else.
The real park.
It's going to keep moving around until we have a publicly funded homeless shelter that respects this city's human bill of rights, which the Eugene mission does not. Okay, they can go left and right, and we have no wet housing here, so people who are addicted to drugs or alcohol, they cannot get any shelter.
Yes, there is a problem here and everywhere, and it affects us all, and it cannot be contained or blamed to one corner of 4th and Blair. This problem is called addiction. This problem is called homelessness and mental illness. And at last, but certainly not least, that so-called rough and violent crowd that hangs out at Tinys, well, they happen to be some of the most loving and gentle and thoughtful human beings that I have ever had the privilege in my life of coming across. And if it wasn't for my dear friends at the Tinys Tavern, diverse and beautiful as they are, my children and I would not feel safe at the Scobert Gardens or anywhere in this neighborhood, because we know that we are under a watchful eye of caring and kind folk across the street who love, who respect, and most of all, who protect this lovely place we call home.
That's right, sister.